Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the ProcrastiNOT Podcast by Project Expeditors, where we will be talking about the different aspects of procrastination.
I'm Athmika,
And I'm Jason.
and we will be your hosts for this episode where we will be talking about how the use of devices further aggravates procrastination.
So, for today's episode, we have invited a guest to share her experience in this aspect.
Hi, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Rennie and I'm in year 1 and I really enjoy singing and playing the piano.
All right, so let's dive into the topic now.
So, as you know, devices can be quite distracting at times, especially when used as a personal productivity device. Many of us are unable to resist the temptation to use these devices, and hence leading to us procrastinating more. In RGS, all of us use a device while learning, so many of us are bound to have come across this problem at some point.
So, with this in mind, would you like to share about your experience where the use of devices has aggravated procrastination?
So last year during HBL, everything was shifted to online platforms. And to me, it was a pretty big change because I wasn't used to relying on gadgets for everything. And even assignments and submissions of homework had to be done online. So I found myself rather glued to my phone 24/7. And it became a really unhealthy thing for me because whenever I was doing my work, I would just uncontrollably reach for my phone and start surfing the web, playing mobile phone games and etc., which led to me not being invested in my work at all. And every single time I reached for my phone, it would take me a really long time to finally put it down and continue with my work. And every time my parents asked me to put my phone down, I just made an excuse and say that I was searching Google for information. And at that time, I didn't really know how big this procrastination issue was until I realized that this issue caused me to be sleeping at really late hours, like 11 p.m. and 12 a.m. And that was really an awakening call for me.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point that you brought up because I think that devices are in fact very distracting, and I'm sure that many of you listening can relate to that too.
Yep, definitely very relatable. So, knowing that the use of devices has further aggravated your procrastination, what are some implications of this on your daily life?
So this year I've had better time management and the usage of devices doesn't really affect my daily life as negatively anymore. But I still find myself reaching for my phone sometimes when completing work. And it really does get in the way of finishing assignments sometimes. And so procrastination is still an issue for me.
So it can be seen that the use of devices further aggravating your procrastination has led to many negative impacts in your daily life. So have you tried any methods to overcome this?
I've tried scheduling my time and writing down a to-do list to manage my time more wisely. And I think that this really comes in handy, especially when we're still in this full HBL period. And we spend a lot of time on our computers and iPads to make sure that we procrastinate less, since it's inevitable that procrastination will still happen sometimes no matter what you try.
Yeah, what you said is definitely true. Now, we're going to be sharing some information based on our project's research. Yes.
So some methods to overcome this distraction is to firstly put devices away because devices are very distracting, and when we are trying to focus, they may pull us away from our work, and this may result in us being less productive. And by putting these devices away, this eliminates the distractions and we can be more focused when doing our work. And however, if that isn't possible, we can always put our phone on silent mode because notifications always tempt us to check our devices. And this is extremely distracting. So by eliminating this temptation, we can definitely be more productive. And thirdly, by setting screen time for ourselves, we still have a good amount of time to use our devices for productive needs or to de-stress. And at the same time, this is a good balance of screen time which would result in optimal productivity. And setting reasonable restrictions for ourselves is a good way to practice self-management, and this is vital in the process to overcome procrastination.
Yep, I definitely agree with what Jacelyn said. Sometimes it isn't possible for us to put our devices away because we may need them. So putting our phone on silent mode will definitely help eliminate this temptation for us to keep checking it. Though devices can be distracting, like mentioned earlier, they can also be very beneficial to us when used as a personal productivity device. Devices can be used to directly aid in our learning, for example, with the platform of Google Classroom, where we get to submit our assignments and access materials for lessons. Furthermore, we have learning platforms like SLS and ACE Learning, where we get to complete assignments and get immediate feedback for it. Devices can also be used to aid our self management, like what Jason said earlier. It's really important in this journey to curb procrastination. So some applications are Google Classroom Calendar, which helps us track our assignments due date, and Google Classroom To-Do List, which helps us keep track of what assignments we have and have not completed. So Rennie, have you tried any of these methods?
So I've tried some similar methods, and I've tried the app reminders on my iPad, and I find it very useful since you can input the things we need to do for the week. But sometimes it also doesn't really help because I don't really see the notifications coming up, and I tend to forget some of the assignments that I had planned to do.
I think that is great that you have tried many of these methods. And personally, I have tried using Google Classroom Calendar before, and I find it really useful. So I think that many of you guys listening can try them too and see how it works out. So to wrap up today's episode, we have covered how devices further aggravates procrastination, the implications of this procrastination on our lives, and the methods to overcome this aspect of procrastination.
Thank you for tuning in to the ProcrastiNOT Podcast by Project Expeditus. We hope that you have learned something new and useful. Do stay tuned to the next episode where we will be discussing about how peer pressure further aggravates procrastination.